Before we dive into this story, I need to ask something from you. Stories like this are not just about drama, they're about life lessons, strength, and healing from betrayal. If you want more real, raw, and unforgettable stories, please subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, and share this video with someone who needs it. Trust me, what you're about to hear is going to stay with you. This is the story of how, after a so-called girls' trip, my wife looked me in the eye and said, "Let's just be friends." My reply destroyed her. The morning sun had barely touched the kitchen windows when it happened. Ryan's coffee mug was still warm in his hand when a buzz cut through the silence. It was Sophie's phone. He wasn't looking for trouble, but his eyes locked on the glowing screen as if the universe wanted him to see it. A name appeared, Chris, and the preview, it was a dagger. Last night was unreal. Can't stop thinking about you. Ryan froze. His chest tightened so fast it was like someone had stolen the air from the room. For a second, he tried to laugh it off. Must be a friend. An inside joke, maybe a wrong number. But deep down, every nerve in his body screamed the truth. His gaze shifted to the suitcase by the door. Sophie's suitcase, unzipped, clothes spilling out, wrinkled, carelessly thrown in. There was even a faint smell clinging to the fabric, a cologne that wasn't his. Ryan's hand trembled as he set the coffee down. The mug clinked against the counter louder than it should have, like the sound of something breaking. He couldn't stop staring at the phone. That single glowing message burned into his eyes. Last night was unreal. He whispered under his breath, No, not Sophie, but betrayal doesn't ask for permission. It shows up uninvited and shatters everything you thought was solid. And in that quiet kitchen, before Sophie even came downstairs, Ryan already knew his world was about to fall apart. Ryan's fingers hovered above the phone like it was a live wire. Every part of him screamed not to do it, to walk away, to pretend he hadn't seen a thing. But curiosity and fear mixed into something stronger, something unstoppable. The passcode screen glowed. 4 empty circles. He hesitated, then tapped in the numbers. Important 2, their wedding anniversary. Click, unlocked. The screen slid open, and with it, Ryan's chest felt like it caved in. The thread was there. Dozens of messages. His stomach twisted as he scrolled. Chris, still thinking about that dance floor. The way you laughed. Chris, wish the night never ended. Sophie, stop, you're trouble. Ryan's vision blurred. He rubbed his eyes, but the words stayed etched into his mind like scars. Another photo appeared in the thread. Sophie's hair messy, neon lights behind her, Chris's arm firmly around her waist. She wasn't just smiling. She was glowing, and Ryan had never seen her smile like that for him in years. His throat closed up. The kitchen felt smaller, the air heavier. He scrolled faster, each flick of his thumb slicing deeper. Chris, miss you already. Chris, next time no interruptions. Sophie, you're crazy. But I had fun too. Ryan's hand shook so violently he nearly dropped the phone. He clutched the counter for balance, the ceramic cool under his palm, anchoring him, while his heart thundered like a war drum in his chest. 10 years. 2 children. A home built together, brick by brick. And in a string of glowing blue and grey bubbles, it all unraveled. For a moment, he considered smashing the phone against the floor, shattering it the way his trust had just been shattered. But he didn't. He just stared, numb, because betrayal doesn't scream. It whispers in emojis and late-night texts, and Ryan realized his marriage had been whispering for a long time. Ryan set the phone down, but the words wouldn't leave his head. They echoed like broken glass inside his chest. He leaned back against the counter, eyes shut, and suddenly his mind carried him back, not to last night, but to years ago. To Sophie's laugh in the park, the first time they met. To their wedding day, when she whispered forever against his ear. To the hospital room when she held their first child, tears streaking her cheeks, and promised, "We'll do this together." 8 years. 8 years of love, of building, of sacrifice, of painting the nursery at midnight, of rushing Sophie's mom to the doctor when she got sick, of sleepless nights with colicky babies, of bills stacked on the kitchen table, but always a smile shared to get through it. They had been a team, or at least Ryan thought so, but then the memories shifted. He remembered the last few months. Sophie turning her phone face down every time a message came in. Sophie disappearing into the bathroom for half an hour at a time. Sophie saying, "I just need space." Her voice soft but distant. He had brushed it off. Told himself marriage had ups and downs. That she was just tired, stressed. That maybe he hadn't been paying enough attention. Now he realized it wasn't about stress. It wasn't about space. It was about someone else. Someone who made her laugh the way she used to laugh with him. Ryan opened his eyes, his heart pounding so hard he thought it might burst. He stared at the staircase leading up to their bedroom. She was still asleep, still lying in their bed, as if nothing had changed, but everything had. The foundation of their marriage wasn't cracked, it was crumbling. And Ryan finally saw the truth he had been too blind, too trusting to admit. A soft creak from the stairs pulled Ryan out of his thoughts. He quickly slid the phone back onto the counter, screen down, as if it burned to touch it. Sophie appeared in the doorway, hair messy, wearing one of Ryan's old T-shirts that draped loosely on her frame. She rubbed her eyes, yawning. "Morning," she mumbled, voice casual, almost lazy. Ryan forced a smile, though his pulse was racing. "Morning. Coffee's ready." She walked over, kissed him lightly on the cheek, and reached for the mug. Her eyes darted, just for a second, to the phone on the counter. She picked up the cup but left the phone untouched. "How was the trip?" Ryan asked, steadying his voice, though his insides churned. Sophie grinned, sipping coffee. "Oh, it was fun. Just girl stuff, you know. Dancing beaches, way too many margaritas." She gave a short laugh, but it rang hollow, like a note played on a broken instrument. Ryan watched her closely, too closely. The faint flush on her cheeks, was it guilt? Or just the morning chill? The way her fingers tapped nervously against the mug. The way she avoided looking at the phone. "Sounds like you had a good time," he said, his words measured. Yeah, it was nice." She set the mug down, turning away quickly. "I miss the kids, though." She left the phone face down on the counter, like it was some forbidden object she couldn't bear to touch. The day unraveled in slow motion. Ryan caught every twitch, every nervous laugh, every vague answer. Sophie avoided direct questions about her friends. She smiled, but the smile was brittle. By the time the kids were asleep and the TV hummed softly in the background, Ryan's chest felt like it might cave in. The silence between them wasn't peaceful, it was suffocating, heavy with truths neither dared to say aloud. He knew then. He couldn't keep pretending. The storm had to break. The living room was dim, lit only by the flicker of the TV. A sitcom played, laugh tracks echoing through the silence. But neither Ryan nor Sophie was really watching. Ryan sat on the far end of the couch, arms crossed, eyes fixed on the screen, though his mind was miles away. Sophie curled up with a blanket, her phone lying untouched on the table in front of them, face down, as always. The weight in Ryan's chest grew heavier with every passing second. The messages burned in his memory. Chris's words, Sophie's replies, that photo, the truth he could no longer swallow. Finally, he couldn't take it anymore. "Sophie," he said softly, his voice cutting through the artificial laughter of the TV. She turned her head, eyebrows raised. "Yeah?" His heart pounded. His throat was dry. "We need to talk." Her eyes flicked down for the briefest moment, then back up. She forced a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "About what?" she asked, too quickly, too casually. Ryan leaned forward, elbows on his knees. His voice was low but steady. "About Chris." The name dropped into the room like a bomb. Sophie froze. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Her fingers twisted the edge of the blanket, her knuckles whitening. The color drained from her face. "Ryan," she started, her voice cracking. It's not what you think." But Ryan wasn't letting it slide this time. He had spent weeks in silence, brushing away his suspicions, giving her space. "Not tonight. Then tell me," he said firmly, eyes locked on hers. "Tell me exactly what it is." Sophie's breath hitched. She looked away, her hands shaking as she pulled the blanket tighter around her shoulders, like a shield against the truth. "Ryan," she whispered, "please. Don't be angry," his jaw clenched. "Don't tell me not to be angry. Just tell me the truth. For a long moment, the only sound in the room was the dull hum of the TV. Then Sophie's shoulders slumped, her head dropping into her hands. "Okay," she said, her voice trembling. "You're right. It's true. I messed up." Ryan's chest tightened, even though he already knew. Hearing her say it out loud was like being punched in the gut. Sophie's eyes glistened as she looked at him. It was just a fling, a stupid, drunken mistake. "It didn't mean anything." "Didn't mean anything?" Ryan's voice cracked. He sat forward, his eyes blazing. "You smiled in those pictures, Sophie. You laughed with him. Don't stand there and tell me it didn't mean anything." Her face twisted in pain. She stood, pacing the floor, running her hands through her hair. "I don't know what I was thinking, okay? I felt trapped. The kids, the house, the routine, it's been suffocating me. I needed to feel alive again. And for one night, I did." Her words stung, not because they were cruel, but because they were raw, honest. Ryan swallowed hard, fighting the lump in his throat. "So what, Sophie? You just throw away 10 years? You destroy a family for what? For a few hours, with some guy you barely know." Tears spilled down her cheeks. She shook her head, covering her face. "I don't want him, Ryan. I swear I don't. I don't know if I want this anymore. Us, the marriage. Maybe we should take a break. Be friends, until I figure things out." Ryan stared at her, disbelief crashing over him like a tidal wave. "Friends, after betrayal, after everything?" He laughed bitterly, the sound sharp and broken. "Friends," he repeated. "That's what you think I'll accept?" The air between them felt electric, heavy, moments away from shattering. Ryan rose slowly from the couch, his movements deliberate, his eyes locked on Sophie. For the first time all night, his voice came out calm, too calm. "You don't get to do this," he said quietly. Sophie blinked, confused. "Do what?" "Betray me. Laugh with another man. Let him hold you like I used to. Then come back here and decide for me what we are now." He stepped closer, his voice low, each word sharp as glass. "You don't get to reduce 10 years, a marriage and 2 children, to just friends." Her lips trembled. "Ryan, I didn't mean—" He cut her off, his hand lifting slightly as if to push her excuses away. "No, I've listened enough. I've given you trust, love, space, everything, and you still chose him. You don't get to choose the ending too." Sophie's eyes filled with panic. "I told you I don't want him. I need time to think." Ryan's expression hardened. "No, Sophie. You had all the time in the world to think before you crossed that line. You made your choice the second you let him touch you. The second you laughed like that in his arms." Silence fell. Sophie stood frozen, her face pale, her breath shallow. Ryan felt it then. The shift. The pain was still there, but it was no longer in control. For the first time in months, maybe years, he wasn't stumbling in the dark. He knew what he needed to do. And this time, it wasn't about saving the marriage. It was about saving himself. Sophie's voice cracked as she stepped toward him, desperation written across her face. "Ryan, please, you can't mean this. This is our home, the kids. They need both of us here." Ryan's eyes burned, but his voice didn't waver. "The kids need honesty. They need stability. They don't need to grow up watching one parent betray the other and pretend it's okay." Her tears spilled freely now. She clutched his arm. "Don't do this. I made a mistake, but we can fix it. We can try." He pulled his arm back gently but firmly. "No, Sophie. You made your choice. And now I'm making mine." She stared at him in disbelief, her mouth opening and closing like she wanted to argue but had no words left. "You need to leave," Ryan said. His tone steady, final, her face crumpled. "What, Ryan? You can't just push me out like this. I'm your wife." His jaw clenched, but his heart felt strangely light, even in the pain. "Not anymore. A wife doesn't do what you did. Pack your things." The room fell deathly silent. Sophie's sobs echoed as she rushed upstairs, drawers slamming, the zipper of her suitcase tearing through the stillness. Each sound was like a nail sealing the coffin of their marriage. When she returned, her eyes were red, her face streaked with anger and sorrow. She didn't look at him. She just grabbed her suitcase, yanked open the door, and left. The slam of the front door reverberated through the walls. For the first time that night, Ryan stood in the middle of the living room, completely alone. But deep inside, beneath the heartbreak, there was something else. Something steady, resolve. The house was silent. Too silent. Ryan sank onto the couch, his body heavy, the weight of betrayal pressing down like a storm he'd finally stepped out of. He stared at the family photos on the wall. Birthdays, vacations, moments frozen in time. Memories of the woman he thought he knew. Memories of a life he thought was unbreakable. Upstairs, the kids slept peacefully, unaware that tomorrow their world would be different. Ryan's chest ached at the thought of explaining, of protecting their innocence, while holding his own broken heart together. Then, buzz. The phone lit up on the counter. A message from Chris. "Sophie, are you okay? I'm here." Ryan picked up the phone, his fingers steady this time. He typed back slowly, each letter carrying the weight of his decision. "She's gone. Don't contact her again." He hit send, placed the phone down, and exhaled. It wasn't the end of the pain, but it was the beginning of healing. And if you've been through something like this, know this: you don't have to settle for betrayal. You don't have to be just friends with someone who broke you. If this story moved you, please subscribe, like, and share it. Someone out there needs this reminder of strength, and your share might give it to them.